This is my first video in English. My pronunciation might be wrong, my accent may sound weird, there will be grammatical mistakes throughout the video, so please bear with me. I will improve from time to time. I have finally watched JoJo, well up to half of part 4. The questions that I will ask in this video might get answered in the series afterward, and I will mention them in the next JoJo review. So JoJo fans, don't go crazy in the comments. Though 5 to 10 people will be watching the videos, whatever. Despite how popular and influential the series is, especially due to the memes and JoJo references, very few people actually watch it because of the art style. Well, I was one of them, but I watched One Piece and nothing can surprise me or weird me out anymore. The older animes and mangas tend to have their own distinct art style, which I really love, rather than being almost the same and identical in design wise like the new animes do. The older animes had their own style and sense of fashion that actually interests me to know how bizarre the characters may look in the story afterwards. I can distinguish JoJo and One Piece characters just by looking at them. Music in JoJo is a vibe. The first opening is blood boiling, especially this part. And the ending is one of my favorite anime endings of all time. Not only in anime but in music as a whole. In the beginning, the characters were like robots, felt like there was no emotion behind the words they are saying. But it improves as the story progresses until a certain point. I will come back to it later in another video, I guess. Part 1 was basically the foundation of the series, exploring the small world we were introduced into at first. But I really liked the Hamon power system. It was unique and we know where these breathing techniques are used in the newer generations of the anime, proving its influence. JoJo is bigger in page count than One Piece, but in spite of being a large series in manga, it's actually very short in the anime. The pacing is almost identical to the manga, which is impressive, but the adaptation is really slow. Like as of now, there are 8 parts in the manga and 9 will be the last one as stated by the author himself. The anime has only adapted 6 parts. Just reminding you, the manga started in the late 80s and the anime is in 2012 by David Production. There were some other older versions but they didn't continue the project. People were criticizing One Piece being endless, and there's JoJo who is just chilling in the corner unheard by people. I will come back to this topic in some other videos. Let us only discuss the story. Basically, Jonathan was an average rich kid who got a stepbrother, Dio. Things happened and Dio became a vampire, which led him to be a bad guy. Like, come on, vampire has to be a bad guy. To stop Dio, Jonathan gets Hamon, trained by Zepnil, I guess, might mess up the name. Hamon is an energy that replicates the properties of solar energy with some repel and attract features. Sunlight is the weakness of vampires and Hamon having the properties of it makes it the only way to defeat Dio in dark. Jonathan goes through many bizarre obstacles and ends up in a dramatic fight with Dio in a house that was burning down in fire. The power difference between the two was prominent, which is why it was interesting to me and made me wonder how to defeat Dio, which we know ultimately didn't happen but is okay. Now, a fight in a story to me isn't that important. Like, I know the author will do crazy and creative things to impress the audience, the animators will go wild in animating it. It doesn't mean I sleep in the fight scenes. I do enjoy them quite a lot. In fact, Demon Slayer, that anime is a masterpiece in animation. The quality, art, cinematography and the lighting all are top notch, but the story is average. On the other hand, let's take Dororo. I know it was reanimated by Mappa, but the animation does not even come close to Demon Slayer. But the story wise, Dororo had more depth and meaning and was more realistic, especially in the time it was drawn as a manga, like in the 60s. From an animation point of view, Demon Slayer claps, but only because the animation was god tier doesn't mean the series itself is a 10 out of 10. In the end, manga and anime are just a visualized story. If I write a novel about Dororo, it will be more impactful than that of Demon Slayers. The story behind a punch means more than a punch which is more powerful in strength and shown in a cool way. Apologies, I easily get sidetracked. It's one of my bad habits. Let's return to JoJo. Jonathan and the love of his life, Erina, gets in a ship to marry or to go on a honeymoon. I forgot, but the ship goes down. The man dies, which surprised me because I was only in 8 to 9 episodes of the anime, which is supposed to be 100 plus episodes, and the so-called protagonist died so early. This side of changing protagonists was unique and I liked it a lot. We don't usually see this kind of things, do we? So this will be it for JoJo part 1. This is the smallest part of JoJo, so the video is quite small, I know. I was was babbling about other things rather than focusing on the story, but it is what it is. I just spoke what I want to speak. The video was unscripted and I might have spoken like a news reporter, but I will get used to it. Bye.